episode of the Hot Seat Podcast, and in this episode is about NXT Stand and Deliver, and as well for WrestleMania Night 1, decided to combine the two. And for next time, I will talk about Night 2 for WrestleMania. I'm gonna get right down into it for NXT Stand and Deliver. Not really in any particular order, but just to get into it, where we had only one match on the pre-show, which is really nice to actually see that and being able to deal with Chase University dealing with Schism on this one. This is definitely a hard pick for me because it kind of went really either or for me, but I felt like with Chase U getting a win definitely made a lot more sense to actually keep Chase U. And I look forward to actually seeing them hopefully on the main roster. Same thing with Schism. One time that would be really cool to see. Then we get into the triple threat match for NXT Tag Team titles, where we had Gallus dealing with the Creed brothers, and as well Tony D'Angelo, and as well Stacks all on this one, and to see who would be the better team to actually go out there and get the win. We had actually Gallus actually winning and keeping the tag team titles and everything. We also had the other Coffee brother actually returning on this one. So this is basically one of the many surprises that I did hear about, not just for WrestleMania weekend, but for apparently for NXT Stand and Deliver. So that was really interesting there. And then we had the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the line. Fallon Henley, Kiana James dealing with Alba Fire and as well Isla Dawn all in this one. Very interesting to see how well Fallon Henley was able to work well with Kiana James, do everything that they can to actually keep their tag team titles, but Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were able to somehow get the tag team titles, which is awesome and really well deserving. So definitely made my night. I was really happy about that to see gold finally for Isla Dawn after seeing a bit of a struggle, especially in NXT UK to try to get the NXT UK Women's Championship at the time. I saw her and Alba Fire is going to be really awesome, and I hope they have a cool lengthy title run for those two. I really like them together as a team. I hope that stays. We had the Unstation match, Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller. Really cool stuff here. We saw the use of weapons here in this match. Candice getting involved, which is awesome there, so don't mess with Mama Wrestling. That was really dope and badass to see her get involved and help support Johnny Gargano and everything. And he was able to get his win there. We had the Fatal 5-Way match for the North American Championship, where we had Wesley Dragon Lee making his debut, which I've seen him before, so seeing him in NXT has been really cool already. JD McDonough, Dragunov, and Axiom on this one, and doing everything that they can with these crazy spots. It kind of went to any one of them, basically, where we saw double team moves and everything. But in the end, Wesley was able to keep his title, which is fine. Anyway, I really thought it could have went to Dragon Lee. I thought that would have been really cool to see that for his debut, but I'm sure he'll get the title within time. Then the ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship, probably the match I was looking forward to the most. I felt like it was going to steal the show. Probably even should have either started or main evented. We had Roxanne Perez actually going out there and having awareness for anxiety, which is really cool. Having Zoe Starks, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, and as well Larry McCarry and Indy Hartwell all in this one, using the ladders to their advantage, of course. We see JC Jane actually attacking Gigi, so basically screwing her over, unfortunately, as she was trying to get the title. But we saw Dexter Lumis actually help out Indy Hartwell with Index being still forever, so that was really heartwarming as well. Emotional for sure. So Indy Hartwell getting the NXT Women's Championship after dealing with quite a bit of losses, unfortunately, but this definitely made up for that. So a really cool surprise there. And then we got the NXT Championship on the line. Braun Breaker and as well Carmella Hayes on this one. Very interesting back and forth stuff. Of course, Trick Williams actually getting involved at one time and it's getting ejected. But in the end, Carmella Hayes actually getting the NXT title and having the respect between the two afterwards. So that's really awesome. I feel like Braun Breaker will move on to the main roster, and of course, Carmelo Hayes would take care of things on NXT as NXT champion. So that's it for Stand and Deliver. Definitely enjoyed that for sure. Then we get to night one of WrestleMania, which was last night. The United States Championship match, John Cena and Austin Theory opened the show. Really cool to see John Cena back, and these two are going back and forth for quite a bit as well. A bit of a tough time for John Cena, almost getting the title, but Austin Theory actually defeating John Cena to keeping the title. And that really mattered that, so that's really awesome. And to see where things will go for Austin Theory, to see who will be able to face him next. Then we get into the men's showcase, the Fatal 4 Tag Team match. I guess with both of these showcases for the men and the women, they'll get future tag team title opportunities. This match definitely surprised me with how crazy it was between Braun Strowman, Ricochet, the Street Profits, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders on this one. It was either the Viking Raiders or the Street Profits for me. To be all honest and everything, I just did them out in the same spots that happened. Seeing the big men actually being able to fly and everything, so very surprising stuff. And the Street Profits actually get the win, so I'm sure at some point they'll get the tag team titles again. We had Seth Rollins and Logan Paul go at it, and these two have been having their basically words ever since then for quite a bit. And to be able to see Logan Paul actually hold his own, and I'll give him that. But Seth Rollins actually attacking the mascot, not wanting to get the mascot involved and everything, actually being put through a table at one point, and Seth Rollins able to get his one, which is awesome. Happy about that for sure. Then we get into the women's 6-woman tag team match between Damage Control, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. Even though the titles weren't on the line, I still enjoyed this, and this one I was looking forward to the most, and seeing the video package as well beforehand, which is really cool. On top of that, Trish and Lita acted like they never left in this match as well. So in a way, kind of hard to see who I wanted to win. Obviously, more for Trish and Lita, definitely. Obviously, can't really go against them, so I'm happy they won with Becky Lynch. Then we have Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Really cool stuff. Having Rey Mysterio having a tribute with Eddie Guerrero, being with Snoop Dogg and everything. So that's been really cool to see that. We saw the returning of the Latin World Order with Legado del Fantasma helping out Rey Mysterio on that. Rey's family kind of getting involved, if you want to put it that way, more towards Dominic. But Rey Mysterio actually getting his win and giving a lesson to his son and not to mess with him ever again. So I don't know where things are going to be going between those two. So it looks like they won't be bothering each other far too much. I don't know, that remains to be seen. On that, then we get into the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley bringing this back since the pandemic in 2020, when they wrestled with no fans in the Performance Center. This one is definitely better than their last match, and just how much chef's kiss it really was on how these two didn't basically back down from one another and having a tough time trying to defeat one another. So at one point, Charlotte Flair almost retained, but Rhea Ripley came back and actually is SmackDown Women's Champion. So now that for the time being, Raw has the SmackDown Women's title, so I don't know how things are going to work if we have a draft this year. From my understanding, from what I remember, I think we are. So that wouldn't surprise me if Judgment Day, even Rhea Ripley gets drafted to SmackDown. I'm not too sure how that's going to work with about having now two women's titles for the time being. So I did think of that, but a really amazing match. It felt like a rebranding, basically, with how things went well, especially with that match and how women's wrestling should be. Then we get into Pat McAfee actually showing up and basically accepting the open challenge from The Miz, and Pat McAfee getting his win there. So The Miz should have just watched out for that open challenge and everything. And then we get into the main event for the Undisputed Tag Team titles. The Usos dealing with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This one has been going on for a long time with everything else that the Bloodline has been going through. So at one point, we almost didn't get to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and actually be friends again, but I love that they're reunited and everything. They held their own. The Usos almost got to keep their tag team titles. We didn't really see Paul Heyman or Solo Sikoa or Roman Reigns, so that was actually a good thing that we didn't get to see that. It was a basic tag team match, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn actually getting the tag team titles, which is awesome. So I feel like the Bloodlines time is basically over. At this point, as of right now, that's just what I got at it. Those are my thoughts. What are yours overall on WrestleMania and as well for NXT Stand and Deliver? And I'll be back for night 2 as always, being able to review that. So a lot to look forward to. I'm going to try and get into pro wrestling during the pandemic with that very special podcast episode coming very soon. I know there's a bit of a delay on that, but it will be happening at some point, probably within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that for this upcoming week. Also, as always, if you're watching on the YouTube side, leave a like, subscribe, and as well hit the notification bell. I always appreciate the support, and that keeps that going. So I'll catch everyone next time for the next episode of the Hot Seat Podcast.